So this is the commute from the house to the studio. It takes about 6 seconds, and it is approximately 20 meters, which is about 65'9". And this here is the everyday carry commuter bag that I carry all of my notebooks and all of the stuff we're going to go through in this video between the studio and the house. And yes, there are probably way too many notebooks, as we will go through in a minute. And actually, it may be a bit of a surprise to me also, because I've not emptied this bag for a while. So let's have a look at what's in the bag. There's going to be loads and loads of notebooks. As many of you know, I am also the co-host of a podcast called Stationery Freaks. So it's no surprise that there's a ton of stationery in this bag. So let's start with this first notebook. This is the little red notebook that you may have heard me talk about on this channel before. This was a gift from my middle son for Christmas last year. Hence it says 2024 ideas. It's actually still in use today. It's only about half full. And in here are basically ideas, quotes, thoughts, things that keep me motivated. You see, my son had a belief in me to buy me this notebook, and I want to honor that. I want to treasure that. Full of sort of notes and quotes and ideas and basically things that inspire. Let's leave the pens until later. So the next one is a journal. This is my journal. I'm not going to show you inside this journal. This is basically a super cheap journal from Amazon. This has been superb for me. I've done a video on journaling for mental clarity before. This has been an absolute game changer. Next up is the Otagami notebook. I think I featured this in one of the videos prior to this about the top stationery items. I'll include a link in the show notes. Word of caution, these big ink pens do bleed through. As you can see, I've sort of ruined the first few pages of this, but this is my doodling sketchbook, practicing lettering, coming up with designs, and basically learning how to draw. I've always felt that not being able to draw has held me back, not being able to doodle my ideas, and so I often just doodle, just sketch, pick up a pen, pick up a pencil. This is a wonderful notebook, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I don't do enough drawing. This is essentially a learning notebook. So I've done many videos before on personal knowledge management systems and learning. It's sort of the essence of who I am. I'm always trying to learn. So when I'm watching a domestic course, reading a book, watching a YouTube video, I'm going to capture it in here. Maybe not in the neatest way, but here is just the raw notes as I capture them, as I sort of learn the things. But next up, these Oxford composition notebooks. I use them for planning videos. These are my video notes explainers that I do as part of the Cultivated management brand on LinkedIn and on the website. And this is probably the most used of all the notebooks because I'm always coming up with new ideas for videos, and that will be full very soon. Next up is a Collins ledger. It is nothing more than a ledger of my day. So what I do is I just track everything that I do in a day. I track money coming in, I track money going out, but I also just log things that happen. Go out for a meal, you know, sell a course, do a call with a client. So it's essentially a backwards ledger of everything that's happening in my day. Now this is a reasonable new addition. This is from smartplanner.co. This is essentially my planner. So here is the monthly content schedule planner that I have for the videos. So these are all the LinkedIn video notes explainers. It's got a weekly plan in the middle. Started using this and actually I've got that clarity. I've got that plan for the week. It very rarely goes to plan, but at least I'm starting with some idea about what my week looks like. One more notebook. This is pretty much my everyday carry. It goes out the house with me. It goes to football practice with me. It goes to the shops. This is a Dingbats. I'm rubbish at this. This is a Dingbats Wildlife Connection reporter police style notebook. Now in here is whatever, so there's some doodles while I was sat waiting for my son at his driving test. We've got some quotes and some ideas, some learning notes that really should have gone into one of those other books, but actually I probably just didn't have that with me when I was watching that video or listening to the podcast. But fundamentally this is essentially capturing thoughts and observations. This is the notebook that goes everywhere with me, and I always use this V-Ball 0.7 pen because it writes beautifully in this notebook. So what we'll do is we'll go through some of the other bits in the bag, and then we'll talk about the pens, because the pens are super exciting for me as a stationery freak. The notebooks and the pens are the perfect companions, but we'll get to that in a minute. So what else have we got in this everyday carry? We've got a head torch as we get to winter. Pop this on. I do look a bit of an idiot, and no doubt the neighbours find it highly amusing, but essentially I use this to be able to lock up, walk up the garden without tripping over or falling over something or slipping into the bush. Keeps my hands free so I can do the locking up, check everything's turned off, and head up to the house. Next up, compulsory reading for me. This is the book that I read over and over again. It's a book called Growing a Business by a guy called Paul Hawken. Wonderful book. One of those that you may as well just dip in highlighter fluid. It is absolute gold. Whenever I'm stuck, worried about the business, whenever I'm trying to grow the business, I give a chapter in here a read, something new comes through, some idea. It's a great book. iPad, for using Procreate mostly for doodling and sketching. Now we're getting to all the little knickknacks, I think. Although we've got one more important piece here, the Ricoh GR camera. You may have seen some of the other videos on this channel. This is my go-to camera for out and about, taking street photography, landscape, just shooting in general. Fits in the pocket, takes wonderful pictures. We've got various adapters, headphones, presentation clicker. Quite know why that is in there. I have absolutely no idea. I think all those pockets are now empty. Got a mouse. We've got headache tablets. We've got another pen. We'll store that. We've got more pens. And I think that is the bag empty. So let's have a quick look at the bag itself. This is actually a DIY window cleaner, household cleaning bag. That's what it was designed for. It's by a brand called Royal Van. No idea, bought it on Amazon, super cheap. The pockets was what attracted me to this, so I could put in all of this paraphernalia. It's got a reasonable size aperture, super sturdy. It doesn't have a zip across the top, but it does connect shut in various different places here if you really want it to. It's got a DIY look to it. It's not the most stylish of bags, I will admit, but it's very practical, does the job, and carries this mountain of notebooks up and down between the studio and the house. Now finally, let's just have a quick look at the pens. Let's move all this out of the way so that we can get a decent top-down shot for the Instagram and for the thumbnail of this video, no doubt. There's a variety of stationery here because they all serve different purposes. I'm not going to go into them too much. The highlight probably of my stationery collection at the moment is this Sailor pen. It's made in Japan. It is a thing of beauty. I've featured it on a couple of videos before. It writes super thick. You can color in with it. You can sketch. You can do fine lines. It's all about the angle. It's technically a calligraphy pen. Super cheap. I think it was about £11. It gets through ink pretty quickly, certainly if you're going to use it to color in. This has changed pretty much everything because it's such a joy to write with that I just want to write, hence so many different notebooks. What we got here, this is a Rotring 600 mechanical pencil. I use this for the daily journal. Really nice weight to that. Next up is a Lamy Safari pen. Everybody raves about these. I'm still not convinced. It feels a bit scratchy. I just can't quite, I don't know. I can't quite get on with it. I can't quite find a place for it, but it's a nice pen. It's a reliable pen, I'll tell you that. It writes first time all the time. It just feels a bit scratchy for me. I don't know, I'm sure it'll find a place. I have a hard shell pencil case where these normally live, but for some reason they've been scattered. We've got, of course, this is my favorite mechanical pencil. It was a gift from Penac, Japanese pencil company, who sent me a Penac Proti 0.5. This thing is beautiful. It's amazing. It writes so well. So between these two, the Sailor fountain pen and the Pennac Proti pencil. There isn't a lot of room for any other pens and pencils, I'll be honest. These bags, I got 4 of these, I think for about £12 off Amazon. They are technically tool bags. These are for putting screwdrivers, screws, nails, all that kind of stuff there. For the tradespeople, very similar to the bag itself, but they're amazing. These little carbiners on there, I've got 4 different colours. And in here is essentially a wealth of stationery, which I'm not going to go through. Actually, I'm going to go through a few pieces. I don't know why I said that. Got a selection of brush pens, which is great. We've got some Sharpies. We've got these pigment liners in many different sizes. Should probably keep them more organized because it might take me 2 or 3 minutes to find the size that I'm after, but they're all in there. We've got some pencils, pencil sharpeners. I've got my original Rotring Tiki 0.7 mechanical pencil. We've got stencils for making things neat and tidy. What else have we got? We've got some little post-it note sticky things. You see, I used to think that these two sides of me were in conflict with each other. The corporate Rob, the creative Rob. One's too serious, one's too dreamy. But the truth is they actually sharpen each other, and there's no way that I can disconnect them from each other. The work brings friction and frustration and observations about how work doesn't move and how people don't necessarily enjoy their jobs, and it gives me tools, it gives me insights so that I can build systems and I can build solutions to help clients. And then Creative Soul Projects is where I sharpen these ideas, where I mull them, where I ponder the universal application of them and show those systems in practice. Many of my videos are using the very same systems that I would use with 20, 30,000 people in an organization, and I'm using them just by myself. It also allows me to explain why I do this and how I manage to bridge that gap between the creative soul and the corporate role. So I think Everyday Carry isn't necessarily about all of these objects. It's about the behaviors that they make possible because of it. The reflection, the journaling, the thinking forward and reflecting backwards, the creative pursuit, the note-taking, the structure and order, and the freedom to express myself as part of my creative soul projects. These allow me to slow down, to observe, to notice, to pay attention, to ponder, to think, to build, to create. It's about carrying the right things with you to allow yourself to live in the moment, to express those multiple sides of our personalities, and to have the right tools at the right time to get things done. So that's been my everyday carry up and down to the house, to the studio, back and forth. I have done a video already on everyday carry when I'm on client sites. If you caught the last video, you'll know that I was on Lemsip to try and get rid of this cough and cold. It's clearly not working. I'm gonna go and have some more Lemsip. I will catch you in the next Creative Soul Projects video. That's way too many notebooks, isn't it? Way too many notebooks. I think I need to simplify this. If you're still watching this video and you have listened to Stationery Freaks podcast, we often do episodes where we're in the pursuit of a perfect notebook, a single notebook, the one notebook to rule them all. I don't think it's possible. So I think that, I don't know, it's a bit geeky, isn't it? Anyway, see you in the next video. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye.